So, is this a paste wax or is this a ceramic coating? Let's play. So this is a really, really interesting wax. We've tested quite a lot of paste waxes that claim they're ceramic waxes, but this is slightly different, this one. This is suggesting that it is a ceramic paste, not wax. Okay, so what we're looking at here, we're looking at something that gives us the user experience of wax, but gives us the results of ceramics, maybe?
Well, time will tell.
So the product, the ceramic paste we're looking at today is from Liquid Laboratories, brand new to the car boutique detailing channel. And like we keep saying, it claims to be a ceramic paste. All right, so before we get into it, Karl, when you're looking at ceramics, what qualities are you looking for? Because arguably, the only thing that this is going to have an LSP, no, forget that, that's totally wrong. It's a USP is what I meant. Right, okay. No, just look at the camera. Okay. What are you expecting this to do above and beyond some of them we've already tested?
So first things first, with anything that is ceramic, I'm expecting longevity and chemical resistance.
Yep.
That is what ceramics give us.
Yep.
As to anything else,
Slickness? Because
yes,
you talk about slickness,
absolutely,
and you've talked about an enhancement of hydrophobicity, greater contact angles when you've done some ceramic waxes. Incidentally, we have done two. We've done one by Angel Wax and one by Fireball, who claim to be have that sort of polysilazane backbone similar to this. But we'll come on to that in a minute. So
yeah, so exactly that, but. Unlike a wax, I'm expecting where we get warmth and everything from a wax.
Yep.
Ceramics tend to give us that clinical finish.
Good point. Okay, so I'm going to read some claims. These are big claims, Carlos. 9H hardness rating. Well, we're not going to be testing that, but that's what they're saying. Effortless application. That does await. That waits to be seen. Fast cure time. We'll go into the cure times. It is one of these that you can pretty much apply. There's a few sort of nuances regarding when you can get it wet, but essentially you can drive off within an hour, but can't get it wet for 3 hours, and then the cure time I think is about 72 hours. We'll confirm that shortly. Outdoor application friendly. Well, we're doing it in a garage, but we've had a bit of a journey with this one. This is our third attempt in recording this. The first time we got the car all washed, and Andrew forgot the media mod, which goes around my GoPro, which allows us to connect these wireless mics up. So that was the first failing. The second time we went to a client's house to apply it, it was raining. We had a cheap gazebo. It got wet mist all over it, so we want to do it properly. Incidentally, new gazebo's coming very soon. Can't wait. So yeah, big claims there.
Big claims.
Do you know what the biggest claim is? How long they say this is going to last for?
Yeah,
over a year.
So they do say that if you haven't prepped the car, which we haven't done, so what we mean by prepping is that mechanical preparation, so we're machine polishing and all that, it will give us up to 6 months of longevity. If we do prep the car correctly, that's when it starts claiming a year plus.
Absolutely.
So we're looking at the lower end because most people, let's be honest, are going to use this like a wax. So let's go with the 6th monthly and let's see what it can produce.
Absolutely, because pretty much most of the waxes we test is 2 or 3 months. Now, if this does push it out to 6, that's an improvement. That's a big improvement. I know we've got things like Fuso Coat. We've tested some waxes that have gone circa 6 months, but the majority of waxes, whether they're natural or hybrid, they do tend to fail after 2 or 3 months, don't they?
Absolutely.
I will read a couple of things. It's ceramic paste wax will leave you speechless, Karl, with its ease of use and jaw-dropping results. Big claims again. Each 200ml pot can cover around 50 vehicles, which is good. And here's the bit. During aggressive testing, the coating achieved a maximum lifespan of 12.5 months. Aggressive testing, okay, maximum lifespan. But if you go and listen to a podcast, I'm just going to show you what Reggie from Labo Cosmetica thought about longevity claims.
The durability claims, yeah. So I've been touching this subject for a while now, trying to explain to people how they really come to the durability claims. And the durability claims are not really claims. It's not the brand literally claiming it's going to last 8 years, because they cannot know, because they didn't test for 8 years. They used other things to test a sort of acceleration. So the claim on the bottle is not really that it's going to last. It is the sequence of what the testing showed that it predicted that could last.
Okay, so there's some information. Nice few creative shots of Carlos opening the pot of wax. Incidentally, packaging, okay, it's quite clinical. Okay, it's quite minimal. The pour is okay. We'll show you some shots now. But this isn't a collector wax, is it? There's no real smell to it.
No. There's a very minute hint of a scent.
Yeah.
However, okay, it's not a collect. Like you said, it's not a collector's wax. It's not one of those waxes that's probably going to end up there. But this is claiming that durability, that chemical resistance that ceramics give us, and so therefore it is a user.
Absolutely, yeah. You're not going to get the enjoyment of the tint, although it's quite nice. You're not going to get that smell. You're not going to get that whole glass pot thing. It's not aimed at that. This is about using it, okay? And if it does, the price point is really, really good, okay? It's under £40, all right? So if that gives that performance, this is a keen enthusiast, a beginner, if it's that easy, and a professional. You know what I mean? 6 months, we've tested 3 last year, 1 year ceramics, and it didn't last 6 months. So this could be a winner, but lots and lots of claims. We're really looking forward to testing this one. So what's the first thing do we do before we apply any form of LSP, open brackets, last stage protection for the beginners, close brackets, comma, go.
After that mouthful, shall we just go and wash the car?
Absolutely. Okay. Dirty car. It's Karl's. Has got some damage. It hasn't been repaired, but let's play some lovely music and wash said car, take it in, dry it to facilitate further testing of said product. Thank you. I love it. Okay, here's the geeky bit, okay, for all the techno junkies out there, why this is such an interesting blend. So, this is basically straight from the manufacturer. So basically we're doing a demonstration of the product in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions, but we're also going to give our analysis and our opinion. So ceramic paste is a radical reimagining of what a protective coating could be. At its core is a full spectrum ceramic polysilazane. That's the difference between this product, hopefully, and a lot of waxes that profess to be ceramic waxes. Most of those have got a natural sort of backbone with an addition of SiO2. The backbone, the main core ingredients of this is polysilazane, which you see in ceramic coatings in the glass bottles. You know what I'm talking about. Further, okay, and it says it here, here's where it gets interesting. We've combined it with 5 carefully selected performance additives, including solid state SiO2 for hardness and polyethylene for enhanced spreadability and hydrophobicity. The result is a semi-solid matrix that applies effortlessly, bonds brilliantly, and performs relentlessly. So quite unique sort of combination of products. And like we said, we've only used 2, Fireball and Angel Wax, that are akin to this. But the beauty of this is it's actually £29.99. If this performs, this seriously undercoats the more expensive ones, which are circa £100. This could be an absolute great product. Thoughts, Carlos?
From a price perspective, it's an absolute steal.
I mean, that's built Hamber double speed wax territory, Angel Wax Formulation 1 territory.
Yeah, absolutely. So it sits in that area. I think. Let's get on with the testing. Let's try and the application. Let's see if they're truthful on that. Let's look at hydrophobicity. Let's see how the aesthetics change that car. I think that. All of that included in that price will tell us if that's a good buy.
Absolutely. That's deep, man.
Ooh, I love to go deep.
Okay. Right. We're moving on. Let's go start testing.
Right, I'm going to speak normal because that's what I am. Well, some may say others. But we're going to get on to the application phase. Let's see how easy it is to apply. So I've already spread a couple of places. said ceramic paste.
Can we just have a look at the pickup, just so it's what's your, in terms of the consistency? Does it feel like a wax per se, or is it?
Yeah, absolutely. So like a hard wax. It is exactly like that. So
beautiful.
I will.
And like you say, you've put a few blobs around.
Yeah. So
nice.
let's crack on and see how it applies.
Now, if you say, "Oh, I tell you what,"
so during this application phase,
yes,
I am noticing that
that looks like it's spreading nice.
It's spreading quite nicely. So it's quite, looking at this, it's quite, okay. So what I am noticing, it is definitely a little bit drier to apply. I'm not saying it's difficult to apply, but...
Have you taken some Red Bull? Because at this rate, you're going to wax the whole car in about 5 minutes. Have you got a are you on a promise with your good lady or something? Because I've never seen you go so fast.
Even if I was, I would not be saying it on here because she would kick my ass. However, what I am noticing is it's a little bit drier to apply.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is a couple of places where I've applied, it seems to be a bit patchy.
Okay.
And I don't want to overwork this because I'm looking at this
Yeah, we had that problem last time. Remember, on the last wax, if you over applied it, you started to almost buffing it off. But in terms of ease,
I'd say it's quite easy.
Yeah.
But yeah,
happy with that?
I'm happy with that.
It'd be interesting, actually, Karl, on this one, because when you're looking at application and all that kind of stuff, we all know that a wax is just a barrier on top.
Yes.
A ceramic coating is an actual chemical bond, you know, that cross-linking.
Yeah.
This is sort of in between, isn't it? Because it's in paste form. Are we going to get a sort of a waxy barrier on top, but an element of chemical a chemical reaction to the paint itself, giving us that longevity? It's an interesting one, isn't it, how this one works?
It is an interesting one because they've said you can apply it as a wax and it has that wax tendency as with an application. But I would expect, if you're saying there's polystyrene, it is a ceramic coating in paste form, I would expect it to bond as a liquid ceramic.
That's a good point. Cure time, manufacturer's instructions said sort of a leave for 10 minutes, but it does say test and adjust relative to your humidity and temperature. So Karl's going to be doing a swipe test, and in our conditions, I don't know, 15 degrees in here, it's the end of February, and we'll then give you that feedback shortly. So we're going to test and adjust on the swipe test, and we'll come back for removal. But in terms of application, it's not putting you off.
It's not difficult by any stretch.
Just slightly drier, and can be a bit patchy.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. Incidentally, circles, straight lines, any preference?
I've done it in circles.
Yeah.
I'll probably test across other panels.
When we do the podcast.
Yeah, well, if straight works.
Yeah.
I just went into my natural.
Yeah, anyway, you're boring me at the moment, so we'll get back to removal shortly.
So we're now on to that removal stage. Andy's just walking around the car so he can join us. And let's see how this goes. And I've done a couple of swipe checks over the time period, which is about 10 minutes. Okay, which sat well with our conditions. First, before I go on to that, I've got a shout out to Ross, who has sent us a load of microfibers for a bit of testing.
Thanks, Ross.
So that's what we're going to be doing at the same time.
One thing we didn't labour, you put a really thin layer over this, and we constantly repeat it when it comes to waxing. Less is more, all right?
Absolutely.
A, it's more economical, and B, it's going to help you remove it because you're not fighting against lots and lots of products. So
absolutely. So let's crack on and let's see how this goes. And a little bit of work, but it is coming off really nicely.
Yeah, you can see on the camera that I'm using, it's coming off quite well, but it is leaving a little bit behind. So this might be, what do you reckon, a flip your microfiber off?
Yeah.
Certainly do an initial buff and then
I'm going to do
a GSM.
Higher GSM final buff because it is leaving something behind.
But most of it's come off, hasn't it?
Most of it has.
See on the camera. Forgive Karl's paintwork, the state of his paintwork.
Oh, it's awful. I really do need to get the machine polisher on this.
What GSM cloth are you using at the moment, Karl?
So I'm using a 350 GSM.
Yep. Short piles.
Short piled, which is ideal for taking off.
Yep.
And then I'm going to follow up with a higher GSM. And then we're on to a 400 GSM.
Nice and fluffy.
Nice and fluffy. Feels quite nice.
Okay, so removal, we've sort of covered that. Probably needs a sort of two-stage. But in what you feeling? Because you've eloquently put in the past that some natural waxes are smooth, but you've emphasised the point that ceramic coatings and ceramic infused waxes tend to be slicker. So what are you feeling?
The paintwork is actually feeling really slick.
Okay.
It does. I'm going to say this. It does. Now, I don't know if this is going to end up, because it needs that further curing after you've removed, like we've said earlier.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it doesn't, feels to me like it's not fully off, because I'm getting like a bit of streaking.
Okay.
If you can, I don't know how well you're going to see it in that light.
Look.
No, you can't. Oh, you can see a little bit. Look.
There is a bit, yeah.
So.
Could this be that relative to our conditions, it being quite cold, that we may, in our conditions, have had to push it out in excess of that 10 minutes? It's a possibility.
Sure. But I will say one thing.
Just do a side-by-side, Karl.
It is slick.
So that's still a bit wet, that side, isn't it? Yeah. So would you say it's slicker than the non-applied side?
Marginal.
Marginal, okay. We say that because on the last wax we did, the waxed side was less slick than the
but there was a thickness to that one. Can I say I'm a little.
Now, what you do, Karl knows this as well, what you do find with the majority of waxes, if you actually leave a wax on and you come back to it a few hours later, there is a bit of, I wouldn't say ghosting, but a slight haze to it. And you do sometimes, with a lot of waxes, have to go round and just give that final buff, a few moments later, or about an hour later. So we've seen that before. This could be one of them.
Well, I think time will tell. I think I'm wanting to hit a few more panels with this stuff, see if it needs. We could have gone maybe too long on it, because there was a swipe about a few minutes beforehand that I thought was close to it, or it may mean it might need a little bit longer. So
lots of things. Okay, arguably we could have applied too much. We don't think we have. Arguably it's very cold. It's quite cold in here, so we could have pushed out that cure time, or it might just be indicative of this wax that this is the way it is and it needs that final buff a bit later on.
Okay. I think time's going to tell with that one.
Absolutely. Now, just repetition as well. Okay, so the manufacturer says we've got to keep, we can drive this after an hour. You've got to keep it dry for 3 hours, and the full cure is after 72 hours. So lots of considerations there. So what we're going to do now, remove the tape, and we'll see if there's any aesthetic improvement in terms of gloss, darkening, swirl filling, and all that kind of stuff. So we'll reposition the camera. But you happy with that?
Yeah, I am.
Does that removal process put you off?
No, because I think personally, I think there needs to be a little bit more testing with the other panels to see if I've made an error.
That's why we do the full car on every one of our tests. Good point.
So I think that time will tell. I think I'll leave
the final conclusions.
Yeah, the final conclusions, because I think there's a little bit more to it.
Okay, let's remove the tape, reposition the cameras, and see if there's any difference in aesthetics.
Okay, so on to aesthetics. Let's see if this has improved this car. One thing I will say, because this is stating that is a ceramic paste and not a wax, if I put my scientific head on and previous tests we've done with ceramic coatings, I'm not expecting any swirl filling from this, because nothing is indicated to me that would do that. And I'm going to be honest, there is absolutely no swirl filling capability, because those that have been close to this paintwork on this car, it's got a few swirls on it, and I can't see anything.
No swirl. So it's not like a glaze or anything. It's not masking or filling those micro scratches. No.
No. Okay. Not.
Darkening effect.
No.
No. Gloss, difficult, subjective.
Right, so, well, yes, gloss is subjective. To get pure gloss.
Our three viewers.
Sorry. To get pure gloss in these machine polishing, I wasn't expecting that from this.
Yep.
Because again, I go back to that. It's supposed to be a ceramic. All right. So anything you've done beforehand is what you're just protecting that work.
So arguably, okay, and I'm throwing it out there at the moment, the performance so far in terms of aesthetic aligns itself with what you would expect from a ceramic coating.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm having a look here. I'm going to be honest, I'm not seeing a lot in the aesthetics. I'm not seeing a lot of any, maybe a slightly more clinical, but I was expecting that again, go back to that service, I expected clinical, but I'm not seeing any real difference between the applied side and the non-applied side.
That is a good thing, because we find a lot of natural waxes do have an aesthetic improvement. Some have got fillers in and all that kind of stuff. And we use, although wax is a protection product, a lot of people use waxes for that gloss, that darkening and all that kind of stuff. But when we're applying ceramic coatings, proper ceramic coatings, the emphasis is on protection, hydrophobicity and self-cleaning. So it all lines up to it acting, I'm not steering you, but you're not getting tested here. It's actually both of us on this one, but it seems to me akin with ceramic coat.
Absolutely, and that's, I suppose, in a way, that's what we wanted it to behave like.
That's what the manufacturers say. It's essentially a ceramic coating in paste form.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the waxing done. Now, stick around, folks, because I'm sure you'll agree, Karl, that extra whip around the car, we have learnt quite a lot.
Absolutely.
Made some significant observations that will come clear when we come to the summary at the end. So it's enforced some stuff, but we found some other stuff as well. So on to your favourite bit, which is the hydrophobicity.
Absolutely. So we've left the car 3 hours. So I made an error earlier on where I said it's actually 3 hours for us before we can touch water. So it's on to my favourite bit. Let's see how good the hydrophobics are on this product.
So just for clarification, you can drive your vehicle after 1 hour, you can't get it wet for 3 hours, and the full chemical curing after 72 hours. Thank you.
And explained for you.
Excellent.
So let's crack on with this. Let's see how good this is.
So what are we doing first, beading or?
Always beading.
Let's go for the beads then. Look at him. Right.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Right.
I'm going to make an observation here, Andy. I do believe getting some beading shots may be a little difficult.
Right. Do that again. Do that again.
Oh, I am.
Look at that.
I'm loving that. Look at that. I'm going to come from the other angle.
Oh my.
I'm going to come from the other angle
Good
because
grief.
I think we're going to have to.
Go on, then.
Look at that. Oh, that is epic. Oh, we found its party trick.
Right, I'm going to try and get some beads.
Yeah, good luck.
Good luck, Andy.
They are big. And it's just, the beads aren't staying, which is a good thing. We love beads, but obviously beads staying on a car is never good because we end up with water spots. However, that is incredibly impressive. As you can see, the two sides here, okay, non-product side, product side, that is still significantly, water still significantly on the bonnet.
Yep.
Very little on
I'm
there.
going to say this now, those are some of the best water beads I have seen in a long, long time, and we test a lot. That is up there with ceramic coatings.
Yeah.
So this we'll come into why Karl's suddenly happy. He hasn't been particularly happy on this test, and that will all become clear. But let's have another shot of that. Yeah.
Towards you.
Yeah.
Oh. They're almost coming back on themselves in some areas. There's some corkers here.
They are really high contact angles.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're the difference between day and night. Okay.
Okay.
Right, so do you want to do any other testing? I think we're pretty much there.
For our usual standard, absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay, so we're going to reposition the camera. The summary on this one is quite interesting. I think it's going to be discussion. I don't know if we agree or disagree, but there's some stuff we've learned about this. So reposition the camera and we'll finish off.
Yeah.
Okay, summary time. Really, really interesting. Probably the most divisive product that we've reviewed. So we're going to go through it. We'll both give our opinions. But first of all, we do appreciate the innovation, okay, a brand and trying to do other things, okay, and we've seen this as a blend of producing something on the market that's a blend of the user experience of wax for all the wax lovers, but giving the properties, okay, so self-cleaning, hydrophobicity, resistance, still to be tested, of a ceramic coating. So we'll discuss when we get to the end whether they think Liquid Laboratories have achieved that. So let's go through. We've discussed the packaging. It's a functional wax. We don't need to go into that, but ease of application, Karl.
I'm going to be honest, not the easiest. It was a workout getting that car done.
Agreed.
So yeah,
it wasn't super difficult, but considerably more difficult than some of the oily.
It was trying to get it to spread evenly across the panel. Took some work to get it across.
Yeah, it was drier, and like you said, if you work it too long, it goes very, very dry.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, would it put us off? That really depends on what our conclusion at the end is. Okay, because it's not all about ease. I personally want the best end product. If that means putting a bit of elbow grease in, I'm okay with that, but we're fully cognizant of the fact that some people just want ease, don't they? So I agree with you on that. Removal.
Even more difficult than the application, if I'm going to be brutally honest.
Yeah.
It is very temperature sensitive, so that cure time will depend. You need to be on point with it. If you took it off too early, it was greasy.
Yeah.
It was leaving streaks, which meant we had to put more effort in to get it removed. I think we sat around. Actually, we went to about 15 minutes, which seemed to be the right time. However, it still wasn't the easiest to remove. It took some arm work to get it removed.
We tried it at 3, 5, 10, 15 relative to, it's 15 degrees. Our panel temperature, as you can see from the B-roll now, was around about 16 degrees. Now, to me, that's fine, that's cool. That really shouldn't be an influence in it. But definitely also, you saw in the videos, we applied too little, too much. 100% like any paste product, less is more on this one. But you're going to have to test and adjust. I do question that 10-minute buff off time, because it certainly was too quick for us. What we also noticed is when you do your initial removal, it was good, okay, but you could see some almost greasiness there. You have to do that second and even third buff. And we did come back to the bonnet an hour later where we saw that sort of hazing, and it did remove it. So we think it's definitely one of them waxes where you're going to have to come back, okay, about an hour later and just do that final buff. Would we agree with that?
Absolutely.
Okay, hydrophobicity.
Do we do aesthetics first?
Let's do the aesthetics. Okay, so swirl filling.
None.
Darkening.
None.
Here we go. Aesthetic enhancement gloss pop. Over
None.
to you. This is where I slightly disagree. I think there is a slight pop. There is a slight improvement, but it's not on a par with some of the waxes we have used. There's no wow factor there.
But this goes back to the whole ceramic argument. Because if you're applying a ceramic coating, you are going to put the work in. So you're going to machine polish that car. That is what gives you true gloss. Your ceramic coating or this ceramic paste is there to give you protection again for your paintwork. So
chemical resistance,
exactly,
self-cleaning, all that kind of stuff.
So for me, I didn't see any real, if any, aesthetic improvement.
Yeah, we'll agree to disagree. But what I will agree with, we've used waxes that give considerable more aesthetic improvement in terms of pop, swirl filling, etc. So opinions are by their very nature subjective. Okay, what do you think? We'd certainly like to hear whether you've tested this. We are going to be sending this pot to another wax tester to give their thoughts as well. So really, really happy with that. Okay, hydrophobicity.
Wow,
Party.
that is the party piece of this thing.
Yep.
It's phenomenal. It is on par with any ceramic coating we've done.
Can I ask a question? Have you passed wind?
No.
Haven't you? Must be a farmer's field. Anyway, we digress. Yeah, I totally agree. And then that leads towards ceramic coating, ceramic-esque product. The hydrophobics were some of the best that I've seen in a long time. We found it very difficult to take a photograph of the beads, but the ones we do have are perfect. The contact angles are really, really good. Really impressive. We did a full-blown 3-5 year ceramic coating. We got those hydrophobics. We would be happy.
Oh, yeah.
There are not many waxes, natural waxes or even synthetic, that give that. And we've done some good ones.
We've done some phenomenal ones.
Really impressed with that. Okay, so summation is £29.99. Well, I'm going to come back to the big question: does it emulate a ceramic coating in a minute? But for what you know about it at the moment, and we can't substantiate the longevity claims, but I'm going to give you somewhere to go to get an idea of the longevity claims. Would you? And I always ask this: would you buy it again?
I'm going to be brutally honest. No.
No. Okay. If the claims of an unprepped car gives you circa 6 months, would that change your mind?
No.
What about a prepped car 12 months?
No.
Okay, explain why.
Right, so my reason behind that, okay, part of it's to do with the application, okay?
That's putting you off a bit.
That has put me off because I can find 1 year ceramic coatings, you know, your light versions of ceramic coatings that are much easier to apply and remove.
And the other two ceramic-esque proper polysilicone backbone waxes that we've used them.
Yeah, I just didn't enjoy applying it from a personal perspective. I'm going to throw it out there. I've had more fun actually applying some ceramic coatings than I have this, and that's my reason why I'm saying no. Yeah,
no, that's why you get two opinions. My opinion. We've chatted long and hard about this. I'll be honest, I'm unsure about this. I appreciate the innovation. I appreciate what they're trying to achieve. Have they achieved it? I don't think so yet, but I think there's potential in this, some fine-tuning maybe. If it gives circa 6 months on a non-prep car, would I buy it again? No, because I know waxes that are considerably easier to apply that last circa 6 months, so I don't think this is giving me anything. If it was 12 months on a prep car, no, because I agree. I'm probably agreeing with you here because there's easier ceramic coatings and easier waxes. You know, the Fuso coat is quite hard to apply, you know, but that does reliably give you up to those 12 months. So I'm not sure about this one. But
we're going to get products we're not sure of. It's
absolutely.
At the end of the day, like you said, it is an opinion. Please go out there, try it yourself. You know, because you may come up with something very different to us. This is, again, it's an opinion.
I will say though, if those hydrophobics remain circa 6 months on your vehicle, and we're not going to do anything more to Karl's vehicle until we get to the end point of this, I may start looking at it, but I don't think it's going to. It might do. It might have amazing chemical resistance like a ceramic. It might perform like a ceramic coating. What I will say, if you want to take this further, and we are going to be coming back to this, Forensic John has done 2 videos. Okay, we're not about views, monopolising a review on a product. We're all about giving you as much information. Forensic John has done a really good video similar to what we've done. He's gone into a bit more detail on the chemical composition, but he also did a part 2 where he did some chemical testing, and he's giving you some information as to what he thought the longevity could be. Highly suggest, leave the links down below, you go and have a look at that. But we will be returning to this, and we won't be putting any other LSP on Karl's car until we know the outcome of this. So interesting. I think with this one, there's gonna that part 2 will come in a YouTube short. We may revisit it, but apart from the hydrophobics, which gave me that wow factor, am I convinced yet? Not at the moment. Anything more to say?
I haven't got anything more to say. I've said my piece.
Absolutely. Okay, so it's all about giving you as much information as possible. Join in the conversation. What do you think? You're seeing and potentially feeling what we've done on this review. Go and test it yourself. We are sending this out to someone, like I said, and hopefully there'll be more reviews on this because there's only a handful at the moment. So I think we'll show them before and after. You can decide whether you think it's made a significant improvement. We're a split decision on that as well. I think it looks cleaner but doesn't give it the pop. You think there's pop there, but nothing major. You think?
I think if I'm going to be
what's the word did you use? Bland, was it, or
dull?
Dull. That's Karl's opinion. Okay, so 2 for the price of 1. We've got lots of videos coming up. If you aren't aware already, we just launched our podcast channel. We've already put 2 podcasts on. I've got to learn how to say that word when I'm speaking so quickly, so I'll leave links in the video description as well. But I've really enjoyed this, and I respect what they're trying to do. Jury is slightly out with me.
I've enjoyed testing it, don't get me wrong, but it's not met my criteria.
Okay, that's good.
I think that's fair.
Absolutely, we'll leave it at that. So until the next time, it's a big goodbye from Andrew.
And it's an even bigger goodbye from Karl.
Excellent. Give us a wink. Beautiful. See you later.